Today we're going to analyze an informational text and we're going to review for tomorrow's test. Our text structure refers to how the information within a text is organized. So we have our 5 text structures: description, sequence, compare and contrast, cause and effect, problem and solution. So we're going to have to read a text and identify which text structure was used, and also identifying the topic and the main idea. Okay, this first one is called Nellie Bly. So the first thing we're going to always do is circle the title, Nellie Bly, and look for any text features that they're providing us with. So here we have a photograph. This looks like newspapers. So I'm thinking maybe she was a journalist or she works for a newspaper. It's going to have something to do with that based off this picture. All right, let's read. The journalist Elizabeth Cochran was born in 1864 in Pennsylvania. When she was 18 years old, Elizabeth read a newspaper article that made her very upset. She wrote an angry letter to the editor of the paper. The editor was so impressed with Elizabeth's writing that he offered her a job writing articles for the newspaper. The editor gave Elizabeth the pen name Nellie Bly because it was not normal at the time for a woman to write for a newspaper. Because she had a pen name, more people read her articles. Most of Nellie Bly's articles were written to help bring attention to bad conditions for people in insane asylums. She saw the horrible ways that the patients were treated and wanted things to change. Nellie also wrote more articles about how women were treated unfairly. Another thing Nellie is famous for is that she traveled around the world in 72 days. Listed on the side here, Nellie worked for a newspaper article under a pen name because women could not write back then, and brought awareness to people about insane asylums. Okay, so now I need to think which of my text structures is giving me facts and information. So this was using some keywords such as the word another. It wasn't giving me anything in a specific sequence or order. It wasn't saying next, then, last. They weren't providing me dates that were in order. It was not comparing and contrasting two things. There was not a problem and then a solution. And there was also no cause and effect. There was no action and result. So based off of my signal words, if I'm looking for the word another, and it was just describing Nellie Bly to me, I would say that was description. Topic, I'm thinking, was there a person, a place, or a thing that this was mostly about? So it was about Nellie Bly. And since it was description, it's describing Nellie Bly to me, I need to think about, okay, what's the main idea? So now I'm going to turn Nellie Bly. I'm going to use the topic and the fact that it was description to make my main idea. So I'm thinking, what they want me to know about Nellie Bly? Nellie Bly was a pen name because women were not treated equally in 1864. A pen name, right, we know, is just a disguise. They didn't want people to know that it was a woman writing these articles because they don't feel like they would have gotten the same respect if people knew it was a woman, and people probably wouldn't have read the articles and took them seriously because women weren't exactly treated as equally as men back then. Learned last week, even though the main text structure for the article was description, it can still have a cause and effect relationship within the passage. So it means it could have one sentence or so that still has a cause and effect, which is an action and a result. When we're picking our choices, it has to have both the action and the result. If it just has the action or if it just has the result, it can't be the answer. It needs to have both. So let's go through our choices. Elizabeth was given the name Nellie Bly. Okay, so here we have a result, but we don't have the action. It doesn't say what caused her to have this name. So that cannot be our choice. Elizabeth wrote an angry letter to the editor of the newspaper. Once again, that gives us a result, but we don't know what action caused her to write this angry letter. The name Nellie Bly was given to Elizabeth after writing to a newspaper article. So if we look here, it says we know our action. So the action is that she wrote to the newspaper editor, and as a result of that, right, he loved her writing so much, he gave her the name Nellie Bly and asked her to write for him. Okay, so if you notice, that's giving us the action and the results that we need. The last one says Nellie Bly was famous for traveling around the world in 72 days. Oops, that's not giving us an action and a result, just stating a fact. Now we're going to read the Oregon Trail, so I'm going to circle the title, which is the Oregon Trail, and I'm looking for any text features so I can get a little background knowledge and try to think what this is going to be about before I begin to read. So I see a little wagon here, so I'm thinking that this is going to take place many years ago, because we don't have wagons anymore. And now we can read. The Oregon Trail was a path pioneers took when moving to the western part of the United States in the 1800s. The Oregon Trail started in Missouri and went across the country to Oregon. To travel across the Oregon Trail, first the pioneers had to prepare their supplies. They brought covered wagons and filled them with food like rice and beans and flowers. Pioneers also packed clothing, blankets, and tools. Most covered wagons were pulled by oxen. Okay, so before I just want to point out, I noticed a keyword, the keyword first. So it's telling me the first thing they needed to do to prepare for their travels. Paragraph 3. Next. So now I found another keyword. So it's saying first, next. So this must be the next step in the process. Pioneers set out on the journey. The pioneers walked along their wagons over prairies and mountains. Traveling on the Oregon Trail was dangerous. Bad weather, accidents, and disease all slowed pioneers down, and many died on this journey. After about 5 months, the pioneers arrived in their new home. Okay, so after looking over my keywords, so I'm looking for words such as first, here's first, and then keywords such as next. I'm thinking this is sequence of events. It was giving me the steps in order for the process that pioneers had to go to when traveling. Okay, so we could think we need one word that article was mostly about. It could be 1 or 2 words. Topic, which is the Oregon Trail, and I took my sequence of events, which gives me steps or a process in order, and I turned that into a main idea by saying the Oregon Trail required many steps, right? Here's my sequence of events for pioneers to go through when traveling. All right, let's go to our task card. How is the article mainly organized? Okay, so here we need to think of our text structure. Okay, so when I'm reading this question, how is the article mainly organized? I always like to just write down on the side here what the text structure is. So if I know that it's sequence of events, I always like to just write it down here. And then when I'm going through my options, I'm looking for keywords. So I'm looking for words that's telling me about events, or events going in order, or if it's telling me the steps for something, it has to have these keywords in the answer. Okay, so let's go through our choices. It provides the events in order, okay, that the pioneers took to prepare for their travel. Okay, so events in order matches where it says sequence of events here. See how they have to match? So that is our best option, but let's keep reading just in case. It describes facts about the Oregon Trail. Okay, this would imply that it was description. It wasn't description because we already determined over here sequence of events. It provides the reasons pioneers had to travel. Same thing, this would mean that it was cause and effect if it was telling me the reasons. Once again, we said it was sequence of events, so that cannot be our option. It explains how the trail helped the pioneers survive. This would imply it was giving us a solution, and it was not problem and solution. So our best option here, where it says events in the order, matches sequence of events. That is our best option. So we're going to go with A. Okay, so as you go through, I think there's only 3 left, and you're going to figure out the rest of the other 3 text structures based off the article. You're going to look for your signal words. Remember, the topic is not the text structure. The topic is just 1 word, maybe 2 words, what the article was about. It could be a person, a place, an animal, or a thing that it was mostly about. And then you're using the topic and the text structure to form a main idea.